So some of you may have heard of the company Pete Pedro. It's actually a company owned by Alpha M, Aaron Marino, one of the biggest style channels here on YouTube. And I've watched him for a very long time, and recently one of the representatives from Pete Pedro reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested in checking out some of their fragrances. And I am very familiar with the fragrances. They're inspired by a lot of Aaron's favorite fragrances. And today we're going to be doing my first impressions and giving you my thoughts on their newest release, King, which is supposed to be an inspiration of Creed's Green Irish Tweed. So stay tuned. So, King from Pete and Pedro. As we'll take a look at the box real quick, and as you can see, it was giving me some trouble to get the bottle out, so I ended up tearing it a little bit. But basic box has the little, I do like the little crown, has the Pete and Pedro donkey. Those of you that have seen Aaron on Shark Tank, both times that he was on there, Tej Henley was one round and Pete and Pedro was the other, and he has both of those companies now. So shout out to you, Aaron. Kudos for doing the damn thing. And you can see, like I said, basic box, nothing special. Fragrance information on the back. Dashing Dapper Divine. So interesting, a little bit of information. We'll toss that to the side. And then the bottles are basic, clean, short, 50 ml. They only come in one size, 1.7 ounce. Pete and Pedro Donkey, name of the fragrance and the company. Do have some fragrance information on the sticker on the bottom. Cologne spray. And cap is a little snug, but I wouldn't really want to get too frisky with it. Atomizer's decent, nothing special. And then that smell. I'll tell you what, when you spray this one initially, you're definitely going to think Green Irish Tweed immediately. And those of you that have watched the channel for a long time, you know I'm actually more of a fan of Armoff's Très Nuit than I am of actual Green Irish Tweed from Creed. I've had 2 decants of Green Irish Tweed, 2 different batches, and by no means am I saying it's a fragrance I don't like. I just prefer the depth of the Armoff version. Yes, it's more synthetic, I understand that, but I find myself being in a similar situation with King, because right off the top you're going to get the soapiness, the aromatic nature of it. You're going to get some fresh greenery. It's a beautiful smell. If you like Green Irish Tweed style fragrances, Aspen from Cody, Cool Water, which is a more aquatic take on Green Irish Tweed. If you like fragrances of that style and that genre, you're definitely going to like King. Performance is moderate. I have been testing it over the last few days. I've been getting about 6 hours on my skin. It's nothing phenomenal. It's not groundbreaking, but projection is actually decent for the first hour to hour and a half. Then it starts to sit pretty close to the skin, but you will get wafts from time to time for the first 2 to 3 hours. And then, like I said, it sits real close to the skin with a very, very mild scent trail. You got to really get in somebody's personal space to smell it beyond the 3 to 4 hour mark. Really, it's not a skin scent. It's still coming off, at least with me, it's still coming off my skin a little bit. Just, it's not weak enough that I would consider it a skin scent, but not strong enough to where I really feel like it's projecting much, just the occasional waft. And it's a very decent fragrance. If I was to put a rating on this one for what it is, being an inspiration, not a direct clone, I would say this is in that realm of a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. Definitely above average for a different take on Green Irish Tweed that, in my opinion, focuses more on the greens and the florals than the soapy nature of it. It's very gentlemanly, as is Green Irish Tweed, and definitely fits in the style that Pete and Pedro was going for. Definitely a good release. I will have them linked below if you want to check them out. I do have Rebel and Hero as well. We'll do videos of those in the near future. I did want to discuss King first, being that it is their newest release. I wanted to check this one out first, and I gotta say, I'm impressed. Is it wowing me? No, of course not. Do I think it's a solid addition to the collection for what they're going for? Absolutely. I see what they're going for. Simplicity, well-rounded fragrances that are grab and go for the everyday man. That's really what these fragrances from Pete and Pedro are really gearing towards. That's the target customer from what I can tell. And it looks like they're doing a really good job. Price per ml depends on how you value it, but definitely worth trying, especially if you're a fan of Aaron Marino and you want to support his companies. Pete and Pedro is definitely a really good company to take a look into, especially if you're a fan of Alpha M. And in my opinion, it's worth checking out. Do I feel like you need to rush out and get it and it's must-have? No. But if you want to try something different that's not a direct clone, give King a shot from Pete and Pedro. Well, guys, that's my thoughts on King. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried Rebel or Hero already? The first two releases. How many of you have already gotten your nose on King? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on King from Pete and Pedro and you give it a spray now, who knows? You might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.